Butter Vision. What up, y'all, and thanks for falling through Unsportsmanlike Conduct, the show with a bunch of handsome men's arguing about sports. On today's episode, BJ Vincent, Olu Alemoru, Keith Caggiano, and Damon Naeem. And now, here's your host, the WBC middleweight shadowboxing champion of the world, JD Butter. What up, y'all? It's your man, JD Butter. And I'm back with another episode of Unsportsmanlike Conduct. We got another great topic to talk about today, a classic sports topic. You can see I'm hyped up. I got my Lakers, Irvin Magic Johnson jers. I got my co-pilot Prince. So let's get right into it and bring in this esteemed panel of my homies, and let's get into it. First off, hailing from Grand Island, New York, he is an entrepreneur's entrepreneur. His company, Rockin' Products, focusing on sex, drugs, and rock and roll with multiple sex toy brands, Rock Life Cannabis, and CBD products, all with a rock and roll theme. Now, in his biggest sports moment in JV football, he caught the winning touchdown on 4th down and double overtime to win the championship that year. The game is never over until it's over with this cat. Ladies and germs, let's bring him in right now, my man, Mr. Keith Caggiano. Let's bring him in, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for Mr. Caggiano. What's up? The proprietor, if you will, ladies and germs, of Rockin' Products, who's still connecting the audio. Check it out. What's up, my man?
What's up, guys? What's up?
Yeah. So listen, I kind of reference Rockin' Products. You've done a lot with it. Tell our viewers where they can find out more about all your Rockin' Products brands.
Right now, we have WeRockOn.com. We're happy to say we just came out with our joints, which is pretty cool because I just had a call from people back home and said, I just bought joints legally, which is kind of cool. So our Rock Life Naturally joints, they're CBD now, cannabis down the road. We got some Pura Spray, too. We got a lot of fun stuff. WeRockOn.com. We're just tons of stuff too much stuff going on to get there yet. But
all right. Well, we also talked about you catching that touchdown. What was that all about?
That was my first year I played football. Started off, didn't know quite what I was doing. It was double overtime in the championship game, and 4th down, caught the winning touchdown pass, which is my El Bundy story that, if you hang around me, it's going to come out a lot. But it was pretty cool. It was pretty fun, and I think it's just about never quitting and always being in the game. So.
All right. Well, we're going to see how you get in this game today. Let's bring in our next panelist, though. Hailing from 35th Avenue, East Oakland, California, by way of San Francisco. He is a family man, an educator, and an artist, an ambassador of the Bay Area, the Sifu of slick talk, the mystic of mayhem, the gargantuan of game. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen, for Mr. Damon Naeem in the house. What's up, Damon? Bring him in. Give him some claps. Ladies and gentlemen, what's up, Sifu? The audio connection always takes a second.
Always a little bit, but we all right.
All right, there he is, my man, Damon Naeem, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for him. Yeah, all throwing the jabs and the rights. Now, tell everybody, I'm going to tell everybody, actually, I've known Mr. Naeem here for, since the late 90s, right? I'm in Tower Records in San Francisco, right? I'm just about to drive back to L.A. I'm moving back to L.A. I'm hearing some hip-hop on the speakers in Tower Records in Stonestown Mall in San Francisco. his partner in this fantastic hip-hop group called Cosmic Law sidles up to me and he's like, yo, you checking for the sounds? What's up? What's good? What's good? So we ended up becoming friends. Damon, now this is very exciting. You're in the studio right now with Replay the Bucket. Am I right or am I right? Tell us about it.
We are working on a little project. It's a lot of fun. Just trying to do what we can and bring some energy and bring some real MC art form back to the hip hop game. You know what I mean, JD?
I feel you. You know I've been waiting.
Well, it's been a long time coming, but good things are worth waiting for. What can I say?
All right. Let's bring in our next panelist. Get ready for the second appearance of the African Englishman coming straight out of Manchester, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for my man, the African Englishman, Olu Alemoru. Give it up for my man as he comes in. All right, there he is connecting the audio. I think it's probably about midnight over there in Manchester. What we got you up, right? What time is it? Like 4 in the morning?
Actually, it's 20 past 10.
Oh, that's nothing. That's nothing. At this time, I'm just getting dressed to go out.
Exactly.
Now, on your last appearance, we mentioned your cartoon Nutmeg, but we didn't really get into it. Real briefly, tell the fans where they can find out more about your cartoon character Nutmeg, who's a soccer-playing female, young, precocious, exciting soccer player.
Sure.
Tell us about it.
Thanks, bro. Just go to nutmegsoccergirl.com, and that's the website. And you will see a terrific teaser trailer, and you'll see lots of cool art and a bit about myself as creator, my sister as producer, and it's got some excellent, very empowering stuff for women and football.
All right.
Thanks.
Let's bring in our fourth and final panelist. Other than me, the host, who I'm also a panelist, but let's bring in, he's also appearing on his second episode of Unsportsmanlike Conduct. Of course, he's posted up in LA right now, but he also comes to us by way of Aarhus, Denmark. He is also my cousin, ladies and gentlemen. Let's bring him in the house. Give it up, ladies and germs, for my cousin, B.J. Vincent. Bring him in. Yeah, there he is. All right. Connecting the audio, of course. What's good, cousin? That's how. He must be feeling good about his appearance on the last episode, which we were talking about fourth quarter quarterbacks. But let's get into the topic today, because this is a good one. This is more of a classic historical one. Later on in the season, we're going to get into a little bit more esoteric type subjects. But right now, we want to hook you in with something really meaty, all right? And here's what we're talking about today, all right? 15 rounds in the square ring at their absolute prime and physical peak, all right? We're going to be talking about two of the great heavyweight champions of all time, all right? I'm going to start it out with whom many people consider the GOAT. Certainly the GOAT as a kind of historical figure who transcends sports. Actually, they both actually are really kind of transcend sports in a certain way, but this guy is really, the all-time guy who had like one of the most famous people ever lived and one of the great heavyweight champions of all time, Mr. Muhammad Ali, 56-5 record, of course. The first guy to win the heavyweight championship 3 times. A couple of big upsets in his career, some of the biggest fights in the history of heavyweight boxing. When he first, of course, upset Sonny Liston to win the heavyweight title. Then, of course, had his title stripped away from him for 3 years and came back and one of the biggest fights socially and culturally in the history of boxing, of course, when he came back and fought Joe Frazier, but one of the great heavyweight champions of all time. All right. We're gonna ask the question, what would happen if he went up against one of the great heavyweight champions of the modern era, Iron Mike Tyson? All right. Of course, he's the youngest to ever win the heavyweight championship, and obviously one of the great power punchers in the history of the game. So we're going to ask the question, and actually we're going to answer the question. We don't ask questions on this show. We answer. Am I right or am I right, guys, right?
You're right. Blow their brains all over your nice side,
So we're going to answer the question, 15 rounds for a championship at their physical prime, and I'm going to throw out there that I think for Ali, that was certainly, say, 65 to 67. You know, when he was defending the heavyweight championship against guys like Floyd Patterson, Brian London, Henry Cooper. And for Tyson, I would have to say it was pretty early in his career also. Say, you know, the late 80s, like 88, 89 was kind of when he was at his physical peak, I would say. So I'm going to throw it to our panel. Actually, let me get my timer out first, though, because, you know, we got to keep you guys tight with your arguments. Can't have you rambling on for hours on end. We reserve that right for me. No, I'm kidding. All right, so I'm going to start it out. I'm going to throw it. You know what? Hold on. I got to add a minute to this. I'm going to throw it. I'm going to start it out. Let me throw it at the African Englishman, Olu Alemoru. You got your 2 minutes starting right now. Go, brother, go.
Okay. With Tyson, it's actually, I would say, 87 in terms of his absolute peak. And this was pre Buster Douglas.
Obviously.
Absolutely etched in my brain forever, my memory of him destroying Trevor Berbick, and in terms of Ali, the Rumble in the Jungle and the Thriller in Manila. I've got to go Tyson.
Wow.
For the speed and the power, and I say he gets him in 5. Now Ali.
Whoa! Whoa!
Ali, he would his right hand punches, Ali, he swats them. But Tyson, when you look at his fights, whereby his speed of his feet, the speed of his hands, his defenses, he actually was a classic fighter until he kind of destroyed himself, because then he fought standing still. But when Tyson was so fast, when he was bobbing and weaving, and he hit with an absolute brick. Now, Ali is the greatest, but I think that Tyson, with his speed, with his low center of gravity, and when I went back and I watched the Ali Henry Cooper, I forget the Britain, and Cooper's knockout punch, which was 2 seconds before the end of the 5th round, he got him with a left, a pile driver. And to me, Tyson gets him with a left hook and takes the greatest down.
All right, that's time. That's time. All right. I feel you. You know, you might have you got some points in there. Right. Yeah, my man. Actually, let's throw it right to my man.
Go on, bro.
Let's throw it right to my man, Damon Naeem. I got to hear what he has to say. Go. 2 minutes starting now, brother.
Do we have any aspirin on hand? Because, man, that gave me a headache. I don't understand what you said, hand speed, and that's something that, you know, hand speed, Ali was known for hand speed, and maybe the speed was negligible in terms of who has the greatest hand speed. You also mentioned footwork. I would say footwork and foot speed is also pretty even, but Mike Tyson was known for coming forward. Ali was known for going backward and still hitting. And he did that against superb, top-of-the-line, Hall of Fame competition over the entire arc of his career. So, I noticed that Tyson has some deficiencies, some holes in his game that also showed over his career. His ability to go late into fights. We know Ali ended up fighting 15, 12, 14. He went rounds that Tyson seldom reached. And as a matter of fact, when Tyson did go late into fights, he tended to fade, especially against taller fighters. He struggled against people like Tony Tucker and Donovan Razor Ruddock, and he lost to Lennox Lewis, who what I would say is probably the best fighter he ever fought. He and Evander Holyfield, he lost against both those guys. Where
yeah, but we're talking about the prime when Tyson was in his prime. He had a defensive skill that he didn't show when the whole craziness surrounding him. You know,
even Tyson in his prime did not do as well against taller fighters. And I just think that Ali was an expert using range and speed and his defensive skill and his counter.
20 seconds.
There's no way. Matter of fact, there's something else you can't measure. When the going gets rough inside the ring, Ali dug down deep and continued fighting. Tyson sometimes would flip out in the ring and look for ways out of the fight. So I just don't think the two compare.
All right. I like it. Succinct, to the point. Let's, you know, I'm not gonna say where I'm coming down, but I like what you had to say, my brother. But let's throw it to another one of these cats and see what they talking about. Let's throw it to my cousin BJ. Let's see what you talking about, my brother.
Well, Muhammad Ali is the greatest of all time. He would beat Tyson 2 out of 3 times, but the first fight, Tyson's gonna knock him out.
Wow.
Because he takes too much hits, and that one hit from Tyson is gonna lay him out. But fight 2 and fight 3, Ali's gonna figure him out and beat the crap out of him.
Wow. Listen to these characters. Is that it? That's it?
That's it.
Oh, wow. That's a new record right now, ladies and gentlemen, for the shortest. All right. You know what?
That's all I understand.
I feel like I just got hit by a right hook after listening to that. Good gracious.
All right. My man Keith has been a little quiet up in the left corner there. Let's see what Keith is talking about. 2 minutes, Keith. You don't have to use it. You can be a G like my cousin and just go, I'm going to go 30 seconds. But 2 minutes, go.
Maybe I'll take some extra his time. First thing is, when this conversation comes up, you got to respect Ali as he's bigger than just he's boxing Jesus. His iconery almost affects this conversation because you got to put that aside. You got to say this fight just happened last week. What the fuck just went down? I'm sorry if I swore, but so the thing is Ali was in a marathon game when he played. It was a 15-round thing. So Ali was training for a marathon. Tyson was coming in a totally different animal. And the thing is I started watching the physics behind Mike Tyson. The way he twists his body, and it's E = MC squared. It's
exactly
mass speed. Tyson, the way he throws his punches, Ali would have had to train specifically for this animal in advance, which he had never seen an animal come in like this. That's why I think when you said Tyson would get the first one, Ali would really have to put himself at his peak training, but his psychology. And the other thing, this topic is so great because the psychology going into it is his own topic. Is Ali going to is Ali's mind games going to get him, or is Tyson's kind of intimidation? How's that going to play out as it goes into like 3 months of hype? But we talk about the Ali shuffle footwork, the Tyson side shuffle to the kidneys and back up to the uppercut, especially if Ali does the rope-a-dope, Tyson can get in those kidneys. One of the best things you ever is there's a video of Customato who trained Tyson talking with Ali pre-Frazier fight, and Ali's going, I'm just going to hit him. He's
10
talking about
seconds.
Frazier, and Customato is doing Tyson years before Tyson, showing him how Tyson would get in on him. I don't think Ali would be prepared for this type of ferocity, speed, punches and bunches type of combination at that time. Ali would have had to do some serious prep training to be able to, because the punches in the combination and the sheer power that he put into those punches, Ali, unless he really prepped for it and got serious. And in the second half of his career, he didn't have that kind of endurance. So,
all right, let me hop in here. I'm licking my chops. I'm licking my chops on this. Say hello to my little friend. All right, I'm gonna start my 2 minutes right now. I give Mike Tyson love. I watched his career closely. I think at his best, I don't think it's a romp for Ali, but I have 2 words to describe why I know Tyson would lose to Ali. Buster Douglas. A much less talented fighter than Ali. admittedly slightly bigger man, and I think probably hit a little harder than Ali, but basically fought a kind of Ali game plan that night. Jab, be behind a jab, keep giving him angles, keep turning him, don't let him set. And he dominated Tyson in that fight. And he's a much, not as much speed as Ali, certainly not as much foot speed. I mean, and when I say peak, I'm not talking about the second half of his career after he came back from 3 years off.
Yeah.
Even then, on 2 warm-up fights, he went in against Frazier and gave Frazier hell and barely lost the fight after 3 years off. Okay, and I think Frazier is a guy. Tyson was great for like the first 3 rounds, and I feel he would have a puncher's chance against Ali for 2 or 3 rounds. But once he got past that, he never had great endurance. He was very complicit. He would allow himself to get tied up. So he wasn't a great infighter, whereas Frazier was a great infighter, and Ali still was able to jostle with him, pull down on his head, like do all sorts of techniques that would have gotten Tyson so frustrated. He would have stopped Tyson, I would say, around 11, 12. Maybe it goes a distance, but Tyson is beat up. He's frustrated. He's almost doesn't even want to be there anymore. All right, that's my time.
Dynamite!
So that's where we stand right now. Let's sum it up. So we got, I think, me and Damon, surprisingly, I got to say, right now are the only Ali guys.
That is shocking. That is utterly
Well,
shocking.
I said Ali 2 out of 3, but the first fight, Tyson's going to knock him out.
Okay, well, let's get into the rebuttals, because I even have some rebuttals. All right, I got some rebuttals to say, and you know what? I'm going to start it off. We're going to go in reverse order this time, right? So let me set this up.
Today I settle our family business.
So in my rebuttal, I want to talk about, too, like that Ali, and I don't think there's any denying this, definitely the best chin, one of the best chins in the history of the game. I think that's proven, right?
Thank you.
If we're going to talk about, okay, Tyson might have caught him early and gotten him down, Frazier hit Ali in the 15th round of a grueling fight with a shot that almost literally knocked his head off. Like the way his head, the dude was up at 3. Wow. The dude was up at 3. Okay? So even if Tyson catches him with some stuff, I mean, he stood up in the later part of his career, he stood up for 15 rounds against Ernie Shavers. Now, if Tyson, in fact, does punch harder than Ernie Shavers, it's by like 3%. And Ali took like 50 like flush shots against Shavers and didn't go down. So I'm hard-pressed to believe that Tyson could knock out Ali. That's my rebuttal.
You can't handle the truth.
Let's throw it back to Keith to rebuttal. You got 1 minute, sir. Go.
I'm glad you brought up Buster Douglas, because I was about to say Tyson beats Ali in his prime, still loses to Buster Douglas, still loses to
okay. Wow.
The reason why is Buster Douglas he's one of the only people that went in this with the Ali style. Everybody else in the 80s who tried the Ali style against Tyson, they gave that shit up. It's Tyson's thing. Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face. And throughout the 80s, when they came in, everybody just changed and went into like deer in the headlights. But Buster Douglas was a power jab. So Buster Douglas was doing damage with that heavy shoulder power jab. And it was the Ali type of style, of course, not the footwork, not the speed. But I think that's what kind of broke him down. Ali would snap the jab.
The power, yeah.
Ali could snap the jab, but Tyson would become – and Frazier went up and down. Tyson would go side to side. So that's my thought on that. So.
All right. Let's throw it back to BJ for you got 1 minute to rebut, my man. Let's hear it.
Okay, well, nobody hits like Mike Tyson. And I hate to say it, Ali takes a lot of hits. And that's Tyson hitting you. You get on the rope and you let Tyson boom to your chin, you're done. It's over. Now, Muhammad Ali is 100 times smarter than Tyson, so come fight 2 and fight 3, he's going to demolish him because he done figured him out already. But that first fight, I mean, in his prime, that's a bulldog. That's a pit bull coming at you.
What you talking about, Will?
All right. Dame.
Whoa.
Dame.
I could barely hold back on that. Is it my
Dame.
turn? Is it my turn?
Dame.
My goodness. Where do I begin? Okay, first, let me just say this. First, I want to piggyback on kind of what you said on the punching power issue. You fought Ernie Shavers and George Foreman, two of the hardest punchers in boxing history, and you took them both out. I'm not sure Tyson hits as hard as either one of those guys, as a matter of fact, and especially late into the fight. I just don't see it from Mike Tyson. The other issue with Mike Tyson, somebody brought up his style, Ali's style. Can someone explain exactly what Ali's style was? One thing about it is he was a chameleon in the ring. He could do whatever he needed to do, whether he needed to fight going backwards, whether he needed to rope a dope and tie you up, whether he needs to come forward and knock you out when he sees you're getting tired and finish you, whether he can catch you with a counter punch and take you out like he did Sonny Liston. The guy had so many different ways to fight. I don't think you can just depend on Mike Tyson coming forward and that's gonna be enough to beat Ali. Another thing, who was the master of angles? Yes, Tyson created nice angles with his lateral movement, but nobody, and I mean nobody, moved laterally and changed angles at the heavyweight division like Muhammad Ali. YouTube him, kids, if you don't know.
I agree. I think he's the greatest of all time. I'm not denying that. But first fight, Tyson's gonna beat him.
Now here's the thing that's and we're gonna throw to you in a quick second, Olu. But I want to Ali got hit a lot post the second, like when he was in his 30s. If you watch all his fights from 63 to 67, he barely got touched.
Exactly.
Barely got touched. Every fight. And I'm talking about fights that he was in 15-round decision. He won by the unanimous decision. He, after the fight, is pretty as can be. Olu, it's on you to final rebuttal. Let's hear what you got to say. You got 1 minute. Do it, baby.
Bring it on.
Okay, I mean, going back to that Buster Douglas fight, I mean, it was an absolute sensation at the time, remembering it live. But I'm playing it back in my mind. And Tyson, to me, he was lethargic from the get-go. He when you watch his march to Trevor Berbick and winning as the youngest, you see him moving exponentially all the time. By the time he got to then, he was just standing still. And when you watch a lot of those fights, he was knocking cats out as he was coming out of the clinch. I mean, his speed and his throwing punches as he was moving side to side was something to behold. But I take the Ali craft and being the greatest. So, but I just think Tyson was so explosive, so powerful, and when you see it with both hands, that's the thing. He would knock out cats with his left, coming off the guy trying to take his head off.
Or the Carl the Truth Williams, where he threw out the jab and slipped it, and just that quick left.
That's why I think, even though it's a surreal close call, I think Tyson, he takes out the GOAT in 5.
All right. Well, so you see how we stand, you guys. So it's me and Damon come down on the side of Ali. Keith, Olu, BJ feel Tyson would win. Now we're going to throw it to you viewers because we want to hear what you think. And we want you to help us earn points, right? So here's what you viewers need to do. You need to put in the comments who you think would win and also how we can pick up some extra credit points. If you think one of these 5 characters here made an especially compelling argument, we want you to mention that in the comments because that'll help us pick up extra points. And then at the end of this season, vote for me. At the end of this season, we're gonna add up all the points, and there's gonna be one winner who gets to punish the 3 bottom dwellers. So, you see what time it is, right her, all right? So tune in next week for another excellent episode of Unsportsmanlike Conduct. I want to thank our panel today, Mr. Keith Caggiano, my man Damon Naeem, the African Englishman Olu Alemoru, and BJ Vincent. And we'll be back here next week with another fantastic episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share. And until next week, I'm JD Butter. Peace.
Mayweather is the greatest of all time.
Oh my gosh. Wow, did you hear that one? We might have to hang out and argue that one next. Peace.